So thank you everybody for coming this morning. I know a lot of us had late nights last night. Who did a 649? All right, cool. So anyway, let's get the show on the road. I like to start these. I talk about Friendship 2.0 and social media quite a bit, and I like to start off with some disclaimers. Number one, I'm not a social media expert. I don't claim to be a social media expert. I think anyone who does devalidates that claim by making it. Number two, we approach, the Mattress Factory approaches our experimentation in social media as just that, an experiment. With everything, we approach everything we do at the museum, from the artistic side of things to the audience engagement and community building side of things. So it's an experiment. It's designed to bob and weave and change and be adaptable. And so just something we'll talk about a little bit later. All right, let's get contextual for a second, because it's going to be, our situation at the Mattress Factory is key to how we approach our social media initiatives, if you will. We're a research and development lab for artists that doubles as a museum, as a secondary kind of thing. We're more concerned with creative process than we are creative outcomes. We have an artist residency program where we bring artists from all over the world to Pittsburgh. They stay and live with us for a number of weeks, anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks, where our sole purpose as staff in the Mattress Factory is to make their artistic vision a reality. So whether that comes to providing them with staff, contractors to install the pieces, on my side of things, telling the story of their experience in the Mattress Factory. So that's kind of unique as well. And another thing is that most of the works that the artists create, actually all of them are site specific. They made for the Mattress Factory within our walls, specific to the space, and they are often temporary. They're up for a certain amount of time. When the show comes down, we either return them to the artist or the artwork is destroyed. So we're not about selling art. That's not how we make our money. So social media, as we'll see in a little bit, has really opened the window to all of this process for the organization. I just include this shot of Adam Schreckheiss's robot that we showed last year to kind of remind me to talk about how the organization has embraced the intersection of art and technology for many years on the exhibition side of the program. Since 1977, a lot of the shows and works and pieces have really investigated the intersection of art and technology, and it wasn't really until about 2 years ago that we kind of branched over and started investigating the intersection of art and technology from an audience engagement or visitor engagement point of view. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Whoops. Okay, so as we began thinking about how to best utilize social media, and let me just say this too, if there's questions, hop in. Let's make this more of a discussion than a lame PowerPoint presentation. So if you have questions, just jump in. So traditionally, organizations communicate with their community in a one-directional, unidirectional type of way. Institution to audience. And there's not much interaction. And we knew when we were building this this initiative, this comprehensive initiative, that we wanted to encourage omnidirectional flow of communication. Audience to museum, so it's more of an interaction rather than this one-way messaging of marketing down people's throats. So as we were thinking about that, we basically broke up our community into segments, key segments that we wanted to reach through this. This is actually, you can find this online. It's by Forrester Research Group, and I'll post this presentation online too. But this is a really valuable tool to kind of identify constituents in segments. We have our creators, right? These people who create web content, bloggers, podcasters, vloggers. Definitely want to be and engage this group of people because they are going to be posting content about your organization. So that's definitely a key group to reach. Critics. These are people who don't really run a blog or create content, but they react to content. They review iPhone cases on BestBuy.com. They rate restaurants on Yelp. So definitely an important segment to reach. Collectors. These are people who utilize subscription services so that content comes to them. They're not out searching content. So it's key to optimize the content in a social media capacity for these collectors through RSS or bookmarking, that sort of things, tagging content to make sure that your content does reach this group. Joiners, probably one of the largest groups, just casual interactors with social media. They have a Facebook profile. Maybe your mom is a joiner. She has a Facebook profile. I know my mom just got one. So they don't really create content, but they're joining networks. And then spectators. This is probably the largest group because it's virtually impossible not to read a blog these days. Even traditional media is definitely utilizing blogs. So the key to a comprehensive social media initiative is reaching and engaging all of these groups. So how did we structure our social media initiative? We use our weblog as the hub, whereas there's all these tentacles kind of coming off of it and then driving traffic back to it. So we have the blog as the hub. Facebook, Flickr, YouTube, Brightkite, and Twitter kind of make up the majority of our social media work right now. But it's designed to change. We don't, I think key with social media is, acknowledging what platforms people are using now, but also being prepared to shift in the future as, Twitter kind of phases out or something new comes to fruition. You have to be able to jump into that and be there. And so one of the things we wanted to kind of convey all of this in a nice, concise package. So at mattress.org, one of the options main front and center is Friendship version 2.0. And then when you click that, it basically lists all the social media capacities where we're involved. The blog, the MFI Confess, which we'll talk about later, the Twitter, everything is there in one little package. And it gives a little bit of context as well, explaining what these things are to people who might not know. So that's kind of how we're presenting this to audiences. This is a screenshot of our blog, and I just include it to kind of show how we're structuring it. We have about 5 staff members who do blog for us. Everyone from our founding director, Barbara, myself, Anna in education, our archivist blogs, our shop coordinator blogs. So they each have unique voices and pertaining to their area of expertise at the museum. It's a great way of personalizing the organization. And that's what social media really, we found a lot of value in using it to personalize the organization and show what really happens behind the scenes. We approach the social media as not a marketing initiative. It's a community building initiative. So this is kind of the hub for all of it. Optimized for all of our networks are there. Our Facebook page is really great, and just recently it's been experiencing a lot of dialogue on it, more than it has in the past. And I'm trying to put my brain around why, but it's been great for awareness building for events and that sort of thing. Yes?
I'm just curious if you were saying that the goal is to create a community, and I'm wondering if there's a point when you guys would feel like it is, as long as it's robust, are you okay with it, or is there a point where the conversation is veering so far away from what the Mattress Factory is and what it does that you feel like you've lost it or it's gone off the rails?
That hasn't happened yet, and I don't think that would be an issue because social media, in our opinion, is more about listening than it is about talking. So we want to talk about what our community is interested in, and that's kind of how we're approaching it. From thus far, it's been mainly about art, mainly about Pittsburgh and that sort of thing. So it's been focused, and I think that really has to do maybe with the mission of the organization too. Yeah.
Since the community defines what it's interested in, doesn't that make a lot of these questions moot?
No, because it's not as a kind of PR person in school. We're taught to never get rid of the message, control the message. But this is more about being a participant with the message.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't quite understand.
Well, and since this is about listening and about creating community, the community decides what it is interested in.
Sure, it's self-selecting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And therefore, there's nothing to control.
I don't know that I agree. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what you're saying. I don't think. With Facebook in particular, I mean, the conversation is definitely about the organization on
Right.
Facebook.
But you're right. We were all taught.
Yeah.
Control the message.
Right.
This is the message we, on the inside of the organization, want to get out.
Sure.
Once we take the transfer of information from a one-sided thing, one-directional thing, and make it a conversation, don't we inherently give away
Well, I don't
the
think
ability to control it?
I don't think so, because we're not substituting conventional or traditional PR with this. This is designed to work with conventional and traditional PR tactics. So I think it's almost an amendment to that, or an extra added feature of that.
Okay.
Yes?
You said that you've seen increased activity on your Facebook page, etc. Do you then equate that with additional attendance at future events? Do you see a direct correlation between the increased awareness and increased participation from an outside coming into the Mattress Factory?
I could say yes. We can't prove it really, but ever since we've started this initiative in 2007, we've noticed that at openings, we've noticed a couple things. Numbers at openings have definitely increased, and demographics at openings have changed. Our audience is a lot younger, and it's a lot more active, I think, as far as participating in events and that sort of thing. So that's one of the things we're all struggling with social media, is right, ROI and all of these terms. And I think we're not so much worried about proving that, because we're looking at it as a community building and not a marketing initiative. So with marketing and advertising, we definitely rely on those metrics to gauge success. With this, it's different for us.
How long have you been at this now?
Since 2007.
Have you seen a correlation between activity here, or this type of activity, and fundraising?
No,
None.
not that we can prove. Not that we can. We don't really use it for fundraising purposes.
But I'm wondering if you're getting additional activity.
Membership, sure. It definitely ties to membership and earned income. Cafe, shop, paid admissions, as grant writing and that sort of things. That we can't really make that correlation, but we can tie it.
Well,
to.
there's lots of different kinds of
Sure.
fundraising.
Yeah,
and
sure,
what
definitely.
you just described
Right.
is additional income.
Right.
Okay.
Anyone? No? Move on. Cool. Flickr. This has been really interesting for us. We started off with just utilizing Flickr to share images that we post at the museum. Installation shots of artists working, events where people are having a good time. We upload those, and it's been a great kind of way to show behind the scenes what really happens at the museum. Again, personalizing that actually artists are in there hammering and painting. And you can see here artist David Ellis working on his piece from above. So it definitely opens a window that had not been there before. This is, we include this. How many of you guys heard of the Jumping in Art Museum's website? Yeah? We made a decision to change our photography policy and allow visitors to photograph the artworks. So we took this picture of us jumping in our Kusama and ended up making the Jumping in Art Museum's website, and it kind of just announced that, hey, we're changing. We want you to come. We want you to photograph the exhibits. We want you to upload them to the web. And we created a group then, and these are all user-submitted photographs of people's experiences at the museum. And it's been really great from an organizational point of view to see exactly how people are viewing the organization and interacting with the art. This is, again, it's a lot about listening. We're learning so much from our visitors through these platforms, and then taking recommendations into account and that sort of thing, and using it almost as a way to improve visitors' experience when they do come to the museum. Twitter. Twitter is a strange beast. There's a lot of the content that. First of all, let's talk about page layout. It's really, I think, very important to identify who's behind the Twitter for your organization as a person, because Twitter, more so than other platforms, I believe, is really tied to personality. It's very conversational. It's people talking to people. I know personally, I like to have conversations with people, not buildings. So the Mattress Factory made the decision to acknowledge, yes, I am behind the Twitter stream. And in addition to behind the scenes posts at the museum, you'll also maybe get an occasional post about my love for the Pittsburgh Steelers or my love of certain music, that sort of thing, to kind of tie personality to this. And I took this screenshot actually this morning to kind of showcase that there's content on there that is not really relating to the museum. So, great to meet the PodCamp people. I'm talking right here with an art critic from New York who posted a video of cicada molting out of a shell or something, and so it's engaging them on their terms is really how we're using Twitter. Engaging people, listening to people, opening up windows into what we do, as well. So we'll talk about this project a little bit later, the MF Text project, but let's go a little bit deeper into Twitter and talk about followers and that sort of thing. We don't call our followers. I think that kind of puts a hierarchical thing. So whenever we refer to people who follow us on Twitter, we call them our Twitter posse, because it very much is a two-way street. I mean, our Twitter posse is unbelievable. They have our back in so many situations. We have their back on things, and they really go above and beyond being fans of the museum. They're evangelical supporters of us, and we can't can't go on enough about how great they are. But anyway, so we have influencers, people that we engage with that are influencers in our area of our market, if you will. Tyler Green, an art blogger, Modern Art Notes, Sea Monster. This is Mary Ann Schumacher from the Journal Sentinel, who's an art critic, one of the few remaining art critics at the Journal Sentinel. Patty Johnson, very influential. Mark Schill, who runs the Wooster Collective site. So these are people that we're engaging with and tying the message of the Mattress Factory into our communications with them. Colleagues, Brooklyn Museum, Museum of Modern Art, Brad from CMU, and Tiffany, who's in the room back there from GPAC. These are people that we can share our professional development with, learn from them, help them get the word out about their programs or events and that sort of thing. So it's definitely great to have a base of colleagues that you interact with on Twitter. And then there's the base of the support. These are people who are supporters of the organization, people who may come to an event, may become a member. So you definitely, this base of support numerically outweighs the rest, but also they are your bread and butter. They are the people who will go to bat for you. So it's very important to engage them. And any questions here? We go? Cool? All right.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Does Twitter help you keep track of your demographics? Like, kind of keep an eye on who's following you?
There are a couple.
What other interests they might have? How they found you?
There are a couple sites that go into that. They're third-party sites. I think one is Twitter Analyzer. Am I right in that? Where it shows like where people are based that follow you, that sort of thing. And there are several sites out there that kind of talk about that. And I'm not really sure off the top of my head.
I'm assuming that when you put this together, that you, particularly for Twitter, were looking at the different groups. How would somebody that in an organization go about doing something like that?
Well, I mean, if you're a museum, it's one thing. If you're a performing arts company, you know who's writing the articles at newspapers about, your beat or whatever. So you search them out. You can search them out pretty easily on Twitter. Nowadays, most conventional publications post, reporters' Twitter addresses. Is that kind of what you're getting at? The influencers, how to find influencers?
Well, I mean, just how would you determine, like, you have these clearly defined groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
How would you, like, in a nonprofit, how would, like, if somebody's never done this, Twitter,
Yeah.
how would you?
Oh, well, okay, so for influencers, they're easy to find. They're bloggers or whoever that write about or produce content about your area of nonprofitism. Colleagues, I mean, you know who you respect in the field, right? So my set of colleagues is obviously different than your set of colleagues. So it's definitely, you just need to find out who you respect and then engage them. And then your base of support, this is it's a blurrier area, obviously, but you can do keyword searches if you like. But it's really important that you just don't follow somebody and ignore them. You need to be there and be a listener and be a participant in this community, not just someone who's looking to get a ton of followers. Does that kind of answer what you were saying?
I think so.
Okay. YouTube has been another great window into the organization, showing artists working in the galleries. We create these 2-minute long documentaries, if you will, upload them. And I'll just highlight, this is a perfect case study of how the power of social media. Really the first time that I was like, whoa, blown away by what social media could do. Street with a View project. We worked with Google to reshoot Samsonia Way, which is the street that the Mattress Factory is located on, in Google Street View, where we worked with artists to stage spectacles along the way. So if you go to Street View, you Google a Mattress Factory, you'll see a marching band, you'll see a big stuffed chicken at the alley. The whole entire staff of the Mattress Factory is throwing confetti like a parade. So it was the first artistic intervention into this platform of Street View. So we knew it was going to be a really interesting project and a lot of people would like it. So what we did is we promised it to our Twitter followers first. We said, we have this awesome project, you guys are going to love it, and Twitter's going to get it first because you guys rock. So a week before we let anyone know about the project via conventional tactics, we leaked the link to Twitter, and it just kind of like blew up. And before the week, when we told people about it, it was on MSNBC, NPR. It was just like a story that conventional media could not ignore because so many other people, real people, were talking about it. And that was really, really interesting for me to kind of be on the other side of it and look at the power of the retweet. Okay, this is gonna kind of segue, we're doing good on time, into two projects that we've been experimenting with at the Mattress Factory that kind of take social media a bit further, thinking outside of the stream, if you will, where the goal with these two projects is to bring social media on premises with the inherent goal of blurring the lines between here and there. The first project is called MFI Confess. All right, let's talk about why first. Okay, conversion, because the ultimate goal of this is to really have social media cannot replace the experience of seeing the art or seeing the performance. It can enhance it, but it cannot replace it. So we definitely want people not to just be our fans on Facebook, but we want them to see what we do, right? Engagement. We want to give people the option to go a bit deeper with what we do. Talk to similar people who may have the same experience of the artworks in our galleries. Engage another visitor who didn't like the James Turrell piece on floor 2, and give them the opportunity to say, hey, did you give it a chance? This is what I felt. So it's creating a deeper interaction with the organization through engagement of audiences among themselves. And retention. We want people who come to the museum who may not know about our social media efforts to leave the museum and participate with us. So it's those three kind of goals that we're looking at. MFI Confess. So what we did is we built a structure in the lobby of the museum where we're inviting visitors in to record videos, short videos, of basically answering the question, what does the Mattress Factory mean to you? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you get it? What was your experience like? And it's automatically published to a channel on YouTube that we created, MFI Confess. So here's a couple pictures. This is the prototype. It's a little bit more defined now, and we actually moved it up into the galleries on 3 rather than in our lobby. We have, this nice little, this is a leftover of an artwork from our India show that we put as a backdrop, so it looks like you're broadcasting from a jungle. So implementation on this. Okay, so we have a Mac Mini that we mounted in the rafters in the basement. No, that's for the next one. The Mac Mini and internet, free. We had it laying around. A webcam we had laying around. It was just a lot of these things are kind of like Scrappy-Doo mashed together things. So plexiglass and fiberboard, we had that laying around. Safari background was $1,500. Just kidding. The space lamp that shined the light was from Michael Olenek, our co-director's personal collection. It's like this huge metal lamp that shines on people. And the kiosk software, we locked down the computer so that you can't go surfing off. You can only stay on one website. So that was $99. So we did the whole thing really for less than $100, and we got some really great stuff out of it. This is just the signage to kind of we show people how to use it using icon-based messaging. You know, click the home button, click the play button, click the stop button, and it's all icon-based. And we ended up getting, we have probably like 200 videos up there now. Very diverse age, you know, it's people from all over the place. You guys want to see one or two short ones? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
Any attempt on your end to control the content?
No.
No.
No. I have only had, it posts immediately to YouTube, and it's been up almost a year, and I've only had to pull one video because we basically said we'll only remove a video if it violates YouTube's terms of service or if it violates the Mattress Factory's mission. And the one video that I had to pull was just a guy. You know, I don't want to go too much into it, but kind of, all right, cool. But we'll look at a few. I hope we have sound here. I don't know if we do. Does anyone know if we have sound?
There should be a cable there that should be plugged into that. It's not.
All right, cool. Let's see. Okay, so this guy's now the mix is definitely off topic, and there are some that are so poignant and to the point and it's unbelievable. So we'll look at a funny one first.
You're not going to have sound.
Not gonna have sound.
There's nothing plugged into the back.
Okay.
I can show you the shining, shining, splendid. Tell me, princess, now where did you land? I love it here.
So yeah, I mean that's cool. We had actually this girl. I won't play the whole thing, but she's great. Our smartest visitors are our youngest visitors. Oh, you probably can't hear it, right?
Try it on the screen. The volume control.
Anyway, she goes on and says, basically, my dad took me to the Mattress Factory, and I thought it was going to be lame, but man, Mattress Factory, you did not let me down. And she, so, and it's just been, we had a couple announce their engagement in there. What's that? No?
You'll see what I posted to Twitter later.
Okay.
And you basically just answered the question.
They and the cool thing about that was they were from I don't know, maybe Texas or something, and they were in there and they said, "Hey, we're at the Mattress Factory in Pittsburgh, and I have a confession. I'd like to confess that he proposed to me last night," and I said yes. And they do this kiss, but they must have gone home and shared the video with all their friends because it's one of the top viewed videos on this. It's got a couple hundred views, and then a few months later, she posts back as a comment on there that's, "Oh, by the way, we got hitched." So it's like, it really personalizes the organization, and that's what this is all about. So we're getting close on time, so I'm gonna kind of speed on here a little bit. Cool. The Screen Text Project. Okay, what we wanted to do here is I would say maybe almost a year ago, we had the idea, let's use Twitter to engage people on site through a flat screen TV interface. And so we started thinking about how to do that. And it all stemmed from me having conversations with people who were in the gallery already. Someone saying they're there on site, they love the installation in the basement. Someone reacting to the Yayoi Kusama piece. So we got to thinking, wouldn't it be awesome if we could kind of tighten this interaction up a little bit? So what we did, Twitter, fail, you all know the fail whale. We couldn't get it. We wanted to make it available to people that weren't on Twitter as well through SMS messaging. So we wanted anyone who had the capability to send a text message to be able to participate in this. Twitter's registration via SMS is a bear. It's like 5 steps, choosing your username. I'm pretty good with that type of thing, and I couldn't get through it. We were like, oh man, we can't do it. What are we going to do? So after further research, enter Brightkite. Brightkite is a location-based social network. Very much like Twitter, except it ties your messages to specific locations. So right there, they're location-based. They're workably small. They answered my phone call when I called. They're based in Denver. Turns out one of their founders went to CMU, so there was that kind of tie-in. But they were willing to work with us on this. And smooth registration via SMS. 2 steps and you're in. You send a message to a short code, bounce back, choose a username, you can post. It's awesome. And they coincidentally had a display wall in development. So we were like, you want to try it out with us? and they were like, yeah. So implementation on this one, computer and internet. This is the Mac Mini I was talking about. We mounted it in the rafters in the basement underneath a flat screen TV, which we had actually that David Ellis piece I showed earlier was playing on it, so we just used that. We needed a DVI to HDMI cable, 50-footer, to go from floor 1 into the basement to the Mac Mini, $50. Chicken of the VNC software so that I can access that Mac Mini from my workstation computer at a remote location. Anyone looking to do that, Chicken of the VNC is fantastic. Plexiglass sign holders for the collateral materials, $20. So did the whole thing for less than $75, and we got some really great interactions. This is an early screenshot before we went public with it. So it posted messages, very Twitter style with the avatar, but then you could also post photos to it, which is a different kind of aspect to Twitter, definitely. We produced simple collateral materials that explain the steps of how to get going with it. Basically a 1, 2, 3, 4 step process. And then, like 2 weeks after we launched the project, Brightkite announced that it would integrate with Twitter with a hashtag. So now any message that's tagged with #MF text will go to the screen. So that really kind of blew up participation with this, because people are now posting from all over the world to it, interacting with people who are on site at the museum about the art that we're showing, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. So we posted the hashtag to our Twitter profile, and then more information, link to the project. And this is a recent screenshot. We have somebody, this is the education head for the Metropolitan Museum of Art, posting to it, like Pittsburgh. So it's good, I mean, it's people interacting, and this stemmed from, usually what I'll do is ask a question. And I think the question here was, what one piece of artwork had the biggest impact on you or something. And it's great to see people's responses. This is an interaction with somebody who was on site, I believe. Art that changed her life, James Terrell Skyspace. I can pop in and say, hey, did you see the Skyspace when we had it in 2002? And she said, yeah, that's the one I like. So it's, you know, definitely building relationships with community members. More innovative projects from other organizations. Brooklyn Museum, if you know, check them out. They're doing great stuff with social media. They have a socially networked membership level, which gains members access to Twitter, special Twitter feeds and that sort of thing. Fantastic. Art Babel, which is a video site, it's the YouTube of the art world, was developed by the Indianapolis Museum of Art. So they're doing some cool stuff. Art Babel, definitely worth a check out. And on the performance side of things, the Portland Center Stage was one of the first performance companies to encourage twittering during a performance, and they kind of really broke ground on that, I think, as the first to kind of say, hey, come on, let's do it. Thank you guys so much, really. Yeah, let's talk.
How many man hours would you say it took you to get up and running when you first started, and then on a regular average maintenance?
Social media at the Mattress Factory makes up about 20% of my time. And I do the advertising, buying, the graphic design, conventional PR. So spend about 20% of my time on social media. Obviously, it's going to be a larger chunk when you're starting up, when you're kind of creating these things and spending a little bit more time to build your community. Yeah.
You said that Bright Kite is location-based. Is that specific location-based? And how would it work for, say, a theater company that has multiple venues?
Right. What you could do is, so when someone comes to the museum, they check in at the Mattress Factory. So they text @MF to the Bright Kite short code, and then it tags that person as being in a location. So if you're doing a performance at the Benedum, you can check in at the Benedum. You can check in here at Art Institute Pittsburgh.
Okay, so when people come in, it's, you were doing a show at this library. People come in, and it automatically knows that those people are.
Yeah, what will
here
happen is
at the
if
library.
you have to tell Bright Kite that
Okay.
you're there. But so if you're at the Homestead Library, you can text @
So I just register the venue.
exactly.
Okay.
And on another note with Bright Kite, what's nice about it is once you check it into place and there's other people checked in, if there's messages sent or notes posted about that place, you actually get those messages in your email or your SMS inbox, depending on your settings, and you can see what other people are doing there at the same time.
Right. Anything else? No? That's all I got. Thanks.